Okay. Hi, first grade. Today we're going to listen to the story, The Day the Goose Got Loose, by Reeve Lindenberg, illustrated by Stephen Kellogg. This is a fiction fantasy story. The Day the Goose Got Loose. When the goose got loose, she caused a riot. Nobody ever thought she'd try it. There wasn't any more peace and quiet the day the goose got loose. It says the goose caused a riot. I want you to sit and think, what do you think it means by the goose caused a riot? When the goose got loose, the hens were mad. The goose ate all the grain they had. The rooster sulked and the chickens were sad the day the goose got loose. We should be thinking, what do you think it means by she caused a riot? When the goose got loose, the sheep were scared. They huddled together and shivered and stared. They would have come into the house if they dared the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, the ram went wild. He butted the Bixby's younger child. Her dress got messed and her hair was unstyled the day the goose got loose. There's a lot of things happening. When the goose got loose, the horses were glad. They kicked up their heels and ran like mad. I wonder, why do you think the horses were happy the day the goose got loose? The goose might have done something. The colt was silly, the filly was bad, the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, the cows were tense. The goose provoked a bull named Spence. He charged right through the pasture fence the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, our herd was gone. They galloped to the courthouse lawn. The sergeants brought them back at dawn the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, my dad was annoyed. He said this wasn't a day he enjoyed. This morning routine was completely destroyed the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, my mom was upset. She said the goose was a personal pet. She walked all around with a butterfly net the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, my brother knew why. He heard the wild geese flying high. They stood in the meadow and waved goodbye the day the goose got loose. What did the girl's brother figure out? What did the boy's brother figure out? It says, when the goose got loose, my brother knew why. He heard the wild geese flying high. They stood in the meadow and waved goodbye the day the goose got loose. I wonder, where are these geese going that are flying in the V formation in the sky? Where are those geese going? And what did her brother figure out? When the goose got loose, my grandmother said, quite late in the evening just before bed, I wonder what thoughts went through her head the day the goose got loose. When the goose got loose, I dreamed a dream of a flock of geese in a silver stream, some tame and some wild, in a fine feathered team. The day the goose got loose. Okay. Tomorrow when we discuss this book in class, I want you guys to have some ideas for our discussion. I want you to think about the goose in the cage at the beginning of the story. Why do you think the goose wanted to get out of her cage? At the very beginning of her story, why do you think the goose wanted to get out of her cage? Some of the parts of this story might have really happened, and some could not really have happened. What parts could really happen, and what parts could not really happen? I also want you to think, we know someone is telling us this story, but we don't know who for the most part of the story. Who is telling the story? Okay, we're going to talk about this story tomorrow during our reading discussion in class, okay? Hopefully it works.